760-200-8550. They are a terrific managed IT service provider, voted number one in West Michigan. Number one. Okay? The folks at Blue Frost IT, in fact, it was one of those stories where they were working for the man. And then they're like, you know what? Let's go out there and do this on our own and save people a bunch of money. It's very similar to what Joe Martinez did. And that has kind of become the lifeblood of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Businesses just like this. 616-200-8550 for Blue Frost IT. On your mark. Get set. Go.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
And now, here's a guy who has never won a congeniality award at any radio station anywhere.
I will fight you in the street.
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. It is built by the audience. You direct me in ways like it's incredible. I mean, you got a guy playing music right now. That's John. He made that himself just for me. That's the only way I can get music on the podcast because, you can't play copywritten material. You get in big trouble for that shit. John said, I got a badass riff that I've been dying to play on the podcast. Let me make it for you, Eric. Well, thank you, John. And then he cut the VO, cut the voice for that. And now... I rely on so much to get this podcast up and running every single day. The tips that I get on stories from you, the audience, you send them along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. And you're all contributors. Thank you. Even if it's as simple as just populating the live feed or listening to the regular podcast, that is all a terrific, terrific thing that I am blessed to have you. So thank you. And welcome. Okay. Coming up, demonstrations continue with a little less destruction. With the exception, well, no, I shouldn't say the exception because this happened days ago. Video surfacing now of some troubling incidents. One here in Grand Rapids. The destruction was done to one dude's face. That might get the local cops in trouble. We shall see. Got a story about the soon-to-be ex-wife of the murderer cop. And this, soon-to-be ex-wife is going the extra mile to make her past with dude vanish. We got a story about bungling cops. Kind of a doofus move in one community making a boneheaded mistake. And amid all the terrible things happening, the only thing that could be worse would be some kook who ate his grandmother. What? That's a succession of words that you don't think you should ever be hearing. Yeah, what happened to old Leo? Well, he got in trouble. What did he do? He ate his grandmother. What? And when is someone not 100 years old and not with cerebral palsy going to do something for COVID-19 fundraising? I have a story about that. Dear Meathead happens today with my dad, and you know he's going to have a lot to say about the things going on in the world. Since the last time we spoke, I bring in my 86-year-old young, how do you say it? 86 years young. 86 years young father in to discuss things. Looking forward to hearing from you with questions for Dad. You send them along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. In the subject line of that, please put Dear Meathead. That helps me sort through them quite quickly. And I'll send it along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com for Dear Meathead when Dad joins us. Brought to you by JM Synthetics, distributor of AMS oil products and found online at jmsynthetics.com. All right, so that is all coming up. But I want to drop this on you first. It's just the crazy when the right thing catches fire online, from my standpoint, because typically anything that I post, I have not yet found the formula for success on social media. When you're in a business like I am, the one thing you need is increases in people looking at your Facebook and liking the page and any social media, Twitter, YouTube, doesn't matter. When those numbers are going up, that means more people are exposed to what you do. And in this case, it's a podcast. So that's all good for business. It's all about internet points. I've covered that with you before. Well, my internet points have been destructively going down forever, okay? And I have not yet figured out the formula for how to continually get more internet points. I think I know, but boy, it goes against everything that I believe in. And what I believe in is causing trouble. And it means snarky posts that piss people off. I love snark. I love rude as shit headlines about idiots in the news. And again, I try not to go out of my way to attack the innocent. It's usually people who deserve it. So, every time I turn around and I post something, I was like, God damn it, no, that was funny. Why? Seriously? Everybody hates that? And so it's constantly just knows that. Like when I went after Alex Jones and called him an asshole, all these crazy kooks, they attack me and they leave the show and I'm not following you anymore. It's like, are you serious? When I went after Bill O'Reilly, when he said, look, man, all these people that are died, and it was when there was only like 50,000 or 40,000 deaths for COVID in the U.S., Bill O'Reilly was on with Hannity, and he said, look, yeah, you know what, very, very cavalier sounding, said, most of these people who died were on their last legs anyway. Now, that's a bullshit thing to say, and I posted about it. What happened to me? Well, the people head for the hills. Fuck you, Zane. We hate you. Drop dead. He's a patriot. Eat shit. I'm like, what? Are you serious? How can you possibly say that? So that's the way it goes for me on social media. So until I get 0 people following me, I'm still going to be me. And if something strikes me, I'm going to post it. By the way, full disclosure, some of you might be wondering, why did I delete the post about the young lady who got in trouble for rioting and looting? I am leaving that alone because it turns out, the old adage, it's always funny unless we know the person. Well, it turns out that the young lady involved, who is the second person to get arrested for rioting in Grand Rapids and has a long, rich history of poor behavior in and around the world, I posted about it, and I have several people that I know who are either close friends of or actually related to. And so after more than one phone call and some consternation in my brain, I said, well, I care very much about all these people, so I'm just going to sidestep it, and it's gone. We're not going to discuss that anymore. Again, it's funny because we don't know them. Well, these people knew her. Woo. Trouble. And I'm guessing the people that are involved have enough going on and probably don't want to have to deal with my ass. So, all right, I can buy into that. But anyway, the other thing I posted that got a lot of attention was a friend of mine sent me a meme, and it's 3 circles. One circle says, outraged by George Floyd's death. The circle next to it says, does not condone looting and rioting. And in the circle on the bottom, so it's 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and they intersect, okay? It says, inside of that circle, supports good police officers. Well, when you intersect all of those, there's a spot in the middle, okay, that has no writing in it except for the word me. And so what that represents is me, and in some cases you, who falls into in all of those places, all 3 of those things. You can actually be that. You can be outraged by George Floyd's death. I am. I do not condone looting and rioting. I hate looters and rioters. And I also support cops. That's me. And man, that apparently is the secret. You post something like that, and it goes viral. Because, I mean, I can post just about anything, whether it be something snarky, whether it be about something that's not snarky. It's the thing that you don't expect to catch fire that just lights the world on fire. So this was a very, very big thing in my world, and I didn't do it because I'm trying to get internet points. That is the side effect of it. I'm not going to lie to you. That's very, very good for me. But a lot of people really responded to this post, and they were like, hey, I can absolutely relate to that. So I wanted to go over some of the things that were said. Been shared 216 times, which is massive for just a ham and egger like me. Because everybody supported it. There was one guy that kind of got off the rails who I think is a little bit of a problem. I'll read that in a second. Josiah writes, I feel like I fit right in that spot as well. It's crazy to me how many people trying to eat you alive for not supporting the looting. And I've heard that come up, and I was like, is that a thing where if you don't support the looting, people indict you? Well, I'm one circle in that. Forget this meme. I say fucking grab these people and get them off the street as quickly as possible. Is that a thing where people are supporting the loot? Jason says, yeah, you wouldn't believe that from some of the hate out there. Craig says, good message, but holy hell, trim your memes. Yeah, I put it up there without trimming the damn thing. Sorry. People will freak out about that, though. LOL, it's mind-blowing. You haven't really gotten that. Kevin, hilariously, writes, who stole your Facebook? Something that makes sense. Logan Ridge Howard in Maine says, spot on. Seth says, 100% agree. Troy Yackel, who I put on blast the other day, says, absolutely. Just adding to it right now, friends, because I lit into him bad the other day. Yeah, it's amazing, Steve writes, how many think that this cannot be. You see how the cops are taking a knee with the protesters? Yeah, why not? I mean, bad cop kills innocent man. There is nothing wrong with cops supporting the take a knee thing. There is nothing wrong with people who didn't get it now getting it. Okay? You know who's sitting back going, all right, is Kaepernick. It's terrible that this guy died like that. But if you're Kaepernick, you're like, this is what I was trying to tell you, fucks, for this long. Are you serious? It had to take the death of this guy to, I mean, come on. Fuck. If this is the case, they should immediately reach out to Kaepernick. All the teams are going to be clamoring to get Kaepernick on their team now. You realize this is actually going to happen. I don't know if Kaepernick still has any gas left in the tank. He hasn't really put any miles on the car in the last several years, but I mean, if the NFL gets back after it, think about it. It's going to be like he's going to be the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid football player in the history of the league. He's going to be like a practice squad quarterback earning $99 billion a year after this. If you have cops taking a knee, if you have National Guardsmen taking knees and fucking KKK guys taking a knee saying, we love the black man, you got to believe that Colin Kaepernick is going to be, holy shit, they're going to name the team the Kaepernicks. That has to happen. Seriously, why wouldn't it? I know I'm kind of being bombastic and stupid about it, but at the same time, I believe it. I mean, Kaepernick will find a team now. And he's like, are you telling me that I had to find a team? You had to have this poor guy die for you dumb fucks to get what I've been trying to get through your stupid fucking brains for this long? Holy shit. Brandon writes this. This is where it kind of gets off the rails. Define good cops, Zane. All right, I will. Someone who does his job correctly and cares about the community and doesn't put his knee on black guys' necks. All right? That's a good cop. All right? By the way, I have a friend of mine who used to be in law enforcement, and he had to get out of it for health reasons. And he made a good point, and I'll get back to Brandon's post in a second. He said, I've seen a lot of these keyboard warriors go down the road of change, protest. But fucking, can somebody please give me an idea about how to move this along, move the ball down the field a little bit so that this doesn't happen again? And, it was a further description of, he wrote, I hear a lot of, well, we got a change at the polls and vote the bad people out and put the good people in. That's what Killer Mike said. Which, by the way, I had no idea that so many white bread Eric Zane Show podcast listeners knew who the fuck Killer Mike was. Like, Killer Mike? I don't know who this guy is. He makes a lot of great sense, but oh yeah, man, you got to check him out, Zane. I'm like, how do you know? Mr. Blonde White Dutch guy? Are you serious? Anyway. And he's like, you people have been voting for hundreds of years, and nothing has ever changed this. Can we get an idea going from some of the people instead of maybe as the dust starts to settle, if somebody can actually, because people have a lot of great ideas who aren't affiliated with politics in any way, there needs to be some discussion, some thought processes so that people can, that's a pretty damn good idea. And I was talking with another friend of mine, and I go, I don't know how people who hire, like who are in positions of power, who hire people in police forces, how can you not get a read on someone? Have you ever, some people have the ability to do this, others don't. Do you ever meet somebody and within 1 minute, you're getting an idea of what's going on up here in their brain? Some who are trying to get the job might do a better job at hiding the nuances that make them stand out. That might not be a reason to hire someone. But if Derek Chauvin is applying for the job and this son of a bitch is a crazy fucker who kills people on the street, how does it not come out in any of the profiles that are done leading up to him heading to his first day on the job that don't stand out as a red flag? How can that even be? I find that to be really bizarre because most people, whether they know it or not, they have tells and red flags and things that occur in the way they carry themselves, the way they stand, the way they talk, the way they engage someone when they speak, that can indicate something of their makeup. And I think that off the top of my head, my idea is no matter the size of the police agency, whether it be Littleburg in the middle of nowhere or big giant city, you need to have a paid think tank of minds that specialize in profiling the people that are trying to get the job. You know what I mean? And who are constantly reviewing their behavior. So let's say you got a board of 5 people that sit there and they engage the prospective cop or deputy or whatever it may be. And they form an opinion about this person. And then they're constantly review. Their job is to not only be involved in the hiring process, but in the constant, it isn't just hire them and then you never think about them again. You have to constantly be monitoring these people's behavior on the street through cameras, reviews, reports, things like that. I think that could possibly go a long way. So to my friend who is the former cop, off the top of my head, on this very podcast, they might already have that. I don't know, but that's what I think might help. in regard to this, because I find it very hard to believe that a piece of shit murderer like a Derek Chauvin would not reveal in any of the moments that I've just described to you that he's a crazy son of a bitch who would be that type of guy to actually maybe do something like this. And you could prevent a death of an innocent man and, well, you know, this worldwide rebellion full of so much damage, injury, and death. All right. Back to what led me to this, and that was Brandon writing Define Good Cops, Eric Zay. I've seen a lot of bad cop activity lately, he writes, and we never see stories of cops arresting each other. How can someone be a good cop if they are not actively protecting us from the bad cops? So he's in the mindset of all cops are bad, which couldn't be further from the truth. He says, Saturday night, I watched the chaos that went on in downtown Grand Rapids. Those rioters were lunatics and needed to be stopped. Instead, I watched videos of unarmed, nonviolent protesters getting shot with beanbags at point-blank range. More on that in a second. It might have been a canister, too. One young individual was trying to converse with the police, standing with his arms open, asking them to have discourse. The police officers there shot a tear gas can past his head, and when he ducked out of the way, they hit him with a beanbag round. I'm sorry to all the good cops out there, but until I see you stepping up against your fellow officers, until I see you admit when they do wrong things, until I see you place bad cops in cuffs for the world to see, then I can't possibly give any of you any level of respect. All right? Kevin adds in response, Brandon, have you seen the stories of the cops hunted down and murdered? Have you seen the cop who went into a domestic violence call to try and save the lady from being killed, and in turn he was murdered by the suspect? Did you see the story of the state trooper who pulled over to help control traffic so some guy could, with his semi, could safely change his tire on the side of the freeway during the polar vortex and minus 14 wind chill a couple of winters ago, and completely changed the tire for the guy? There are way more good cops than bad. But the sad thing is negativity gets viewership. Viewership means more ad revenue. More ad revenue means more money in the pocket. Now tell me why you don't see it in the mainstream media. All right. Yeah, I think Brandon is aware that there are good cops, and I think that's a little bit of he is looking at it through the negative things that have gone on right now. Brandon writes, you're a product of the media. Don writes, Brandon, you are a product of the media. They do not show the good, only the bad until everyone is riled up. Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, I've seen a lot of great stories about cops being, that whole take a knee thing. I think that all is a very good thing. So I don't necessarily, I kind of hate the indictment of the media, and I hate the term mainstream media. Yeah, I get it. You get entities that are bent a certain way, but fuck it. Both sides are. Let them show it. You pick and choose what you want. But it's the media. It's not mainstream media. It's not non-stream media. It's just the media. A lot of these officers know that they have a job to do. Most of these officers do not have street smarts. They are book smart. I don't know about any of this. I'm not even going to read most of it. I don't know how much he knows. But just getting back to what I talked about earlier, who knows? Maybe down the road there will be something like that in place. It probably already is, where they can take a look at what officers do and get a better idea as to what makes them tick. I'm just glad that the whole thing, the whole intersecting circles thing, was able to catch a little bit of life, because that's where I stand on that, and that's why the topic of the live stream podcast was, I mean, seriously, why can't I talk shit about asshole looters? They are not the same as the peaceful protesters. I support the peaceful protesters. I do not support anybody who destroys a business. I do support National Guard intervention by governors. I do support any military support nationally to help out those states and clear the streets. I do support curfews. All of that stuff. Hang on. All right. So that's where I stand right there. That was the post on Facebook. I have a paintball giveaway that I have going on right now. Thank you to Jason. He's probably like, "Oh, I didn't want you to mention me." Shut up. You're a sweet, sweet soul. Jason from JM Synthetics took me up on the deal about where I said, "Hey, if you're thinking about supporting Rick at TC Paintball, buy a friggin' paintball gift card." Well, he did that, and then because Rick's just now getting back open, all right, at TC Paintball. He bought one, a $100 gift card, and he donated it so that I could give it away to you. This is awesome. So this is the second time this has happened. Send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Thank you, Jason, for doing that. You're very kind. And write in the subject line, paintball giveaway. And you're in the running for the drawing. I will do it coming up on let's do it Friday. Let's do it this coming Friday. I've got a handful of people right now who have said, "Hey, I want in." Send an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. You could win the paintball giveaway and then give it away to somebody else. So that means you can all sign up. The more the merrier. Doesn't cost you anything. It's totally free. eric@ericzaneshow.com. Subject line, paintball giveaway. The show is on Cameo, as you know. What that means is I do personal shout-outs for you for birthdays, retirements, Father's Day, whatever it is. You can find out more information by going to cameo.com/Eric Zane. You tell me what you want to say, and I do it. I have a lot of people say, "Hey, man, roast the shit out of my friend Rob. His girlfriend just is a total idiot, and she left him. We're trying to cheer him up, so have some fun with him. Congratulate Tony. He just got a divorce." Cameo.com/Eric Zane. The open of the podcast is brought to you by Terrytown RV. Online at terrytownrv.com. I love these guys. Oh, man. Fantastic business. The biggest RV dealer in the state is right here in West Michigan. Hell, maybe even in a multi-state area. The Rust Belt. You can check them out online at terrytownrv.com. And they got it all, man. Travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, Class A motorhome, Class A gas, Class A diesel, Class C gas, I know all this stuff because I'm like, this is my thing. Oh, boy. Yeah, I was this close to taking a job doing this for a living, and I'd crush it. The problem is I'd be so damn good at selling RVs that I would never do a podcast because I'd be making some serious cheddar. And this is... I can't stop podcasting. Are you kidding me? Podcast to the day you die. Thank you, Terrytown RV. This is the next best thing. I can sell you from right here in my Fear Bunker studio. They're on Division between 68th and 76th Street. Call them up at 616-236-2754 and do mention that you heard it right here on the Eric Zane Show podcast. Okay, my friends at Horizon Hydroponics. There they are right over there, HORIZEN, hydroponics.com. They've got curbside pickup. They've where you can have it delivered to you, whatever you want. It's all taken care of. But as Michigan businesses are starting to open up, we're starting to get back after it. But still, if you want to order online, you can do it at horizonhydroponics.com. The plants, they're going to keep growing. You got to keep them green and healthy. You can reach out to them. And they can talk you through it with all the expert advice that you need at horizonhydroponics.com. I was just talking with my wife, and she said, actually, Jackie, my daughter, and my wife, Diana, said the same thing. Why do you always flinch when Jackie walks by you? And my answer happened at about the same time, and I can't believe they didn't piece it together. She is such a 23-year-old Jackie is such a bull in a china shop. This is what Jackie does. You'll be sitting there. Let's say I I'm cooking food. I'm like mincing some garlic. I've got a butcher block knife in my hand. I'm doing the deal. Chop, chop, chop. I'm being careful. Head down. Jacqueline will walk up to me and hit me in the forehead, but like kind of hard. And I'm like, Jackie. And then she just laughs and walks away. The kid is like, I'm like, and this is what she did. She did the same damn thing at Belgraff's funeral. Do you remember that story I told you when I was actually speaking in a eulogizing way to this crowd of people when Brian died, and all of a sudden, I guess she had to use the restroom or something like that. She gets up, and I see that she's walking down the aisle at the funeral home, and I didn't think anything of it. But then, so I took my attention away from her and looked to the left side of the room, and then I heard it. She smacked the shit out of her sister right in the forehead, like right there. And you hear this buzz in the room, like, oh God, and people laughing, like, did she just do what I think she did? That is so. I mean, I've been seeing this for as long as she's been able to do that decades. And the kid is just, I'm telling you, bull in a china shop. And she comes walking by me the other day, and I did it again. I flinched. I'm like, you ever do that? You like kind of get ready for the impact because you're afraid. I'm like a dog that's been beat too much. End up like a dog that's been beat too much. Born in the USA. I'm like Benny, the one-eyed wonder dog. And she goes, why do you always flinch? I go, because you always hit the shit out of me. What are you, crazy? What do you mean, why do I flinch? I'm chopping, I'm mincing garlic and you hit me. So I don't want to hear anything about you. And every time she comes to the house, I'm like kind of on edge because I know she's lurking. And every day, every time she's over, it's like this. Damn it. Because I was in this room, there was no camera on me, and I am writing. I'm rat-a-tat at the keyboard. I'm looking in the same direction I'm looking right now that you can see me on the live stream. And on the live stream, you can see that door behind me. I have no idea what's happening, but she opens the door quietly, and I have no idea she's there. She tiptoes in, and now, if you've ever listened to me for any amount of time, I've gone on record about how much I hate, first of all, scaring people, because it's friggin' awful, because I hate being startled. I actually think it's a health concern, because all we need is someone like Jackie to do that shit to someone whose heart is about to explode, and she's going to push him over the edge. The heart's going to go kablooey, and it's going to be her fault. Somebody's going to die because she scared the shit out of him. And on my last show, everybody used to give me tons of shit about it, as usual. And I was like, no, I stand by it. And it was always a fucking drama-filled moment, as it always was. And but I still stand by that to this day. So she's going to do it. I'm working here. She puts her head right here over my right shoulder, but not in my field of view. I can't see anything. There's nothing in my peripheral view. Like if you're watching the live stream, I can see my hand waving in my periphery right now. She's back just far enough that I can't see her, but it's right here at my shoulder. And then she goes, hi. Oh my gosh, did I jump? Do you know anyone who does this? And how pissed are you when it happens? Now, I was so startled. I didn't scream. I didn't wail. I didn't do anything. I could feel my heart actually skip a beat. There's no doubt I gnawed off a few years of life with that. And it was, I mean, who the fuck does this? What? Oh, my God. And I go, hold up. I go, look, you almost got hit, because I said I almost just threw my elbow back which would have hit her right in the throat or the face or something. I punched my mother-in-law in the face one time. Do you remember this story? This is a true story. I was much younger, and at my in-laws' house, God rest their soul, the area where the John is a dimly lit hallway. This is where because Diana loves this too. I see it all kind of, there's a pattern here. Diana's mother does this. Diana loves doing this, and Jackie loves doing it. So, I mean, we can see the chain of command on this shit show. But fuck. Diane's mom thought it would be a good idea. This is Sue. I love this woman so much. I miss her so much. Her spirit was incredible, but I hated this. I come out of the bathroom. Wash my hands, dry my hands, and I go open the door, walk out, and as the door opens, in the corner is this hideous mask, looks like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's Sue in the mask. She goes, ah. And I punched her right in the face, like kablam, right there, and she goes, ow, and is laughing all the way, and I slugged her right in the face. And I was like, oh, my God, Sue, holy crap. Oh, I can't believe this. It was so terrible. And Diana has made a living doing this. There's numerous videos over the years of her doing the same damn thing. One time I was in the bathroom, and she was in this creepy nun mask. That video is somewhere. I should find it and post it. And it's that the apple does not fall far from the tree. I hate it. I hate every second of it, and you people that do this shit are friggin' nuts. Hate it. All right. Kind of jumping around here. I apologize. But I wanted to get that out of the way. It kind of just popped into my head. All right. There's a story going around in Grand Rapids where on Saturday, some guy, oh boy, this is bad. Cue the in the face drop. In the face. Honestly, I think that the only thing that's keeping this from being a bigger story is because the dude who got shot in the face is a white dude. And I know that sounds weird, but think about it. I mean, we're in kind of a weird spot, and I tend to call it like I see it. Either way, I'm kind of thinking that this is going to become a little bit bigger because what you have here is some dude who is walking towards the cops downtown, and he looks standoffish. He looks like a dick, and he's pissed. And this dummy walks up to the cops in riot gear and points at one of them, and he's very aggressive. And so the cop who he's pointing at goes, all right, and they had been telling him to get back. He's not complying. They fill his face full of mace. Now, that's it. To me, fight over at that point. Yeah, he's an idiot, no doubt. But I think you've handled it at that point. And so while he's chewing on that idea of mace burning his face off, the dude turns around like, oh, fuck, man, now my day is ruined. And another cop shoots a projectile from about 8 feet away that hits this dude right in the face. Oh, my God. Now, I don't know if this was a canister of smoke. I don't know if it was a canister of tear gas. I don't know if it was a beanbag or a rubber bullet. But all I know is that all four of those things hurts and is not like a pillow or a feather. And probably a bad idea. It is a bad idea and inappropriate to shoot guy who can't see in the face. Fuck, is this rough? Oh, boy. The comments on it, on the news story, the one did make me laugh because I do understand where you're coming from, but it still doesn't make it right. The guy wrote, adult games require, wait a minute, earn adult prizes at adult games, which is kind of like you got what you had coming. I don't know if he did. If you're a dude who's showing up to protest and you end up with a face full of mace, that should probably do it, I would think. But the fact that he got a canister right in the mug is probably going to be a problem. This thing's been viewed millions of times now. Heather Walker from Wood TV8 had a story about it.
Video going viral, showing law enforcement macing a man and then shooting him with a projectile during Saturday night's unrest in Grand Rapids. And today we've learned that this video has prompted an internal investigation at GRPD. News 8's Heather Walker is speaking with a former officer who says that shouldn't have never happened. Heather?
That's right, Brian. That video is 13 seconds long and has more than 3 million views. The video starts with a man walking towards a group of officers. He points at one, saying something that's inaudible, and then this. Oh! Yeah! The man first maced, then seconds later, shot at with some kind of canister.
It's unacceptable.
James Howard spent close to 40 years as a police officer in Norfolk.
We need an update on this guy's face. And who is the idiot who recorded the video and stopped it right after the impact? What the fuck is wrong with you? We need to see more of that. What happened to the dude?
Yeah, he was trained by the FBI and served as a team leader with his department.
The officer should have been pulled off the street immediately. The one who, you had an escalation. He should be moving away. The guy steps out with a pepper spray. Sometimes that takes a couple of seconds to really sink in. And when it does, this guy would be leaving, I'm for sure.
Howard, who now teaches de-escalation tactics to churches, says pepper spray should have been the end of it.
What the fuck you need to teach a de-escalation tactic at a church? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, peace be with you and also with you. Body of Christ. Hold on, it's getting a little rowdy here. You're doing it all wrong. The fuck do churches need de-escalation tactics for?
I do see him turn back around toward the officers, but I don't see him running toward the officers or making an aggressive move. You would never fire. No, not at that range. I'm surprised the guy didn't go to the ground.
In his opinion, the officer could lose their job. At the very least, he says they should face strict discipline along with training, because actions like this will only escalate the problem.
This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good for your agency. It's already tense times right now, and you want to have somebody do something like that. No.
Go, Heather, go. Go, Heather, go.
We were unable to track down that man in that video. His identity is unknown.
Heather's like pregnant pause to show how hot I am.
His condition. As far as the investigation into the officer's actions, we'll let you know the outcome. Reporting live outside of Grand Rapids headquarters, Heather Walker, News 8.
If I was the chief of police there, because the chief of police in Grand Rapids has been, he's been trying to get out in front of stuff all the time, and he's actually on the steps of the police station with a megaphone saying, look, Black Lives Matter. I know that. If you're him, and you see that, you're like, what the fuck? How long can this internal investigation take place? And I kind of agree with the other guy on Facebook. Why didn't some of the other, if that video would have rolled longer, I would have loved to have seen the other cops like punch that dude in the stomach or grab him by the fucking vest and say, all right, you're done for the day. You're going to have to sit a few plays out and talk to the boss on this. You can't, that guy's an asshole. But you can't be, after the mace, you cannot shoot him in the face with the projectile like that, right? Am I getting this right? What do you think? If you have anything that you want to get in terms of a conversation actually on the podcast right now, you're going to need to rat-a-tat-tat on your email, eric@ericzaneshow.com, about this. What am I missing here? First of all, it shouldn't take nearly that long to do any type of investigation about this damn deal. And once they do, this guy, he's got to be disciplined or fired, right? If you want to get in on this discussion, I need you right now, eric@ericzaneshow.com, because I'm finding that this is ridiculous. That there would be any type of anybody who would freaking support something like this, right? I don't know. A little bit crazy. And just another day dealing with this. And I was talking with a friend of mine the other day about it's really a weird thing because prior to George Floyd, if you think back, it was constantly talking about COVID, and as a person doing what I do, it's like, God dang it, how can I navigate and have a little bit different, different things to talk about when the only thing people are interested in is that. Well, good news, there's something else to talk about. But what my point is, in a scenario where there is this pandemic, which is still a thing, and where people are supposed to stay apart, we have people getting together in massive groups and likely spreading this because of the protests and the looting that is going on. And so that is very, very likely that this will affect those numbers. I was just looking at some numbers, and I noticed that California had a big spike yesterday. California had a big spike. Texas had a massive spike. Michigan is on the cusp. Today will drop. Florida will pass Michigan in infections. And then I think Virginia is sneaking up on Michigan as well. You dummies maybe, did you hear me stutter there? You dummies may be real aggressive towards saying that Governor Whitmer didn't know what the fuck she was doing, but I'm telling you she did. And what she's done, and hopefully if people will keep socially distant from each other, Michigan will remain as a beacon of hope for what can happen when you have a stay-at-home order in place backed by a governor who actually has a decent plan. But for all these big communities that have riots going on, it would not surprise me at all if you see a big spike in COVID-19. But it's just crazy how, all right, everybody stay away. Oh, my God, this cop incident. Now everybody's together, and we're not out of a pandemic. It is just an awful, awful scenario. It's kind of like it's two terrible storms converging. We are moments away from Dear Meathead. I need you to send your questions, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I won't get to all of them. I'm looking ahead, and I have a number of questions. But if you have something burning, it might be moved to the top of the list, depending on what I see playing out in the questioning for my dad, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is coming up. Patreon is what I do after this podcast is done. I do a second podcast. After all this podcasting what do? More podcasting. Oh, it's awesome. And I share it with you at patreon.com/Eric Zane. The Kent County Health Department and all health departments want to remind you, cough into your elbow. Cough into your elbow. Wear a mask. Be socially distant. You're going to want to let your guard down. You're going to want to say, whatever. Don't do that. We're not there yet. Please do what you've been doing. We had a very vulnerable person over my house yesterday who is immunocompromised. But it was a hot-ass day, and this person wanted to put their toes in the pool. We led the person's mother, led her in. I'll just tell you, it's Mary and Kate, for God's sake. Kate Veldink, I love her to death. Mary Veldink, love the whole family. Kate wanted to put her toes in the pool, but we stayed away. Okay? Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I'm giving you a virtual hug. I know that sounds corny as hell, but it's true. Do it. If you are struggling to make ends meet and you need a little bit of a boost to keep food on the table, the Kent County Health Department wants you to call them about the WIC program, 616-632-7200. We're allowed to go up north finally. Stretch out a little bit. If you're going up to the area near the Manistee National Forest, I want you to keep in mind that Baldwin Ace Hardware is there, and that is a sponsor of mine, Off the Beaten Path. Remember, do not bring your stuff up from the big box store when you go to your getaway place. Visit Baldwin Ace Hardware, okay? They've been open throughout the pandemic, and they're, of course, still open now, and they need the business. Help out Mike and Jennifer Gilmurray, sponsors of this show. And one more time for Green, I always say Glean. You like the way I look. Green Clean Technologies. My pal Will has signed up for another month of advertising on the show. 989-560-7272. What do? Well, they clean critical environments, data centers, any place that has all these computers, with dust in the air. And, oh, my God. First of all, if you haven't had this done, you need that room cleaned, and it needs to stay clean. That's what they do. Data centers need to be like freaking operating rooms. Otherwise, all your key components could very easily fry. Those pieces of equipment are so sensitive. It's not like your computer at home. So much can go wrong, and that can cripple your business. Call up Green Clean Technologies and get a quote. 989-560-7272. GreenCleanTechnologies.com is their website. Breathe deep. Exhale. Breathe deep. Exhale. I did plyometrics yesterday. Oh, my God. Oh. Old school P90X, day 2. First of all, from day 1, which was chest and back, this is called your lats. It's what on your back, like a big muscle-bound guy, it'll make him look like a V. Those are your lats. And you use them when you're doing, like, pull-ups. Mine are so sore from the back workout. And the pull-ups I was doing on the pull-up bar, my feet are on a chair. I used to be able to hammer out like 25 of these like nobody's business. And now I can't do one. I'm so weak. But I did it, and I assisted with the chair, but hopefully over the 12 weeks, I can get rid of the chair, be able to do a few on my own. I think I will. Don't count me out. And then my abs, oh, my God, they're so damn sore. Hey, you want to do a comparison of the flabdomen? You remember when I started it before diet bed, how fat it was? So I guess this is my before and after picture. So this is what it looks like right now. Does it look any better? I know it's still gross, but I don't think it's that big. Hello, Eric. This is your belly talking. What the fuck, man? I feel lighter, and these are not abs. This is fat. These are fat rolls that look like abdomen. Okay? But I think there's hope. What'd you do in the podcast today, Eric? I showed everybody my fat ass. I showed them my belly. All right. Let's bring in the man of the hour. JM Synthetics bringing you Dear Meathead. Online at jmsynthetics.com. Here we go. I can't hear you, guy.
Good morning, son.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Not bad. Not bad. It's been a crazy week since we spoke last week, Dad.
How's that?
Well, you know, with all the news going on about that guy getting killed in the street and all the riots. I mean, this is some scary, scary stuff.
Yeah. I think the law enforcement has got some bad elements in them. But I do understand their side of it too, honey. They're fed up with a lot of criminal things that are occurring, and But then again, taking the action the way this guy did, it's unheard of.
Yes, and so just to be clear, you don't condone any type of violence on any soul, white, black, or anybody, yes?
Absolutely not. I love blacks. I love whites. I love everyone. They're human beings. They're people.
Yes, exactly. And
unless they harm me somehow.
Well, yeah, that's different. I mean, if somebody's...
That's a different story. But this poor guy, if that's the story, which I believe it is.
Yeah, it is.
That man had no business being in a law enforcement.
Right. Yeah, there's bad people everywhere. There's no question. What gets me is I don't. I mean, how did he not know that he was in distress? Because cops have paramedic, or I should say first responder training and for first aid and whatnot. And how did he not realize that that guy was in great peril, and the other cops as well? I think that that's a real problem.
But, there's some more involvement in here we're not aware of. I kept hearing things that there's a brother of this guy also was known to these people. Is that true, that they were after him?
I didn't hear that. I don't think so. I have...
No?
He went against the violence. He doesn't want him to be violent.
Oh, the brother is against violence. That's
correct.
True.
Correct.
I know that.
Yeah, I actually played a clip of the brother, and he is a sweetheart. The brother of the deceased.
You remember how he was standing there and screaming at people, "What are you doing here?"
Yes, I do remember that. I played the clip yesterday, and I was moved by that.
This is ridiculous. Blacks are white. My God, blacks have always been black people. What the hell is the matter with the folks? I'm really upset with this, the way people are dealing with blacks and whites.
Yeah, Dad. Hold on. I'm going to write this down. I'm taking notes. Blacks have always been blacks.
Yeah. What's going on?
I don't know, man. You're right, Dad. That's pretty deep. Blacks have always been blacks. I never thought about it that way.
That's right. All of a sudden, they were 200 years ago.
Oh, my God. All right, well, we're off and running on another great edition of Dear Meathead. I thank you and Joanne for joining me. How's the garden looking, Dad? It's another week of gardening.
Garden is in place. My neighbors are the most wonderful people on this earth. 2 of them came here in about 2 hours, put all my plants in.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So,
you believe that?
So they actually, now, are these the type of things where the plants are already grown a little bit and you just have to...
They're already sprouting.
Yeah.
What is it going to do?
Ron's going to come and weed it.
And they're going to come and weed it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, what are you going to do? Just sit around and watch them?
Hey, I'm gonna have coffee while I'm sitting there watching them.
Yeah, that's awesome. They love you.
Hey, yeah, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
These people are wonderful, wonderful neighbors. You've never... The guy across the street come up here with 4 days worth of dinner.
Oh, that's fantastic. When I get to be a little bit older, I sure hope people take care of me. I hope that that's the case,
Eric, I want you to know one thing in life. You want nice people to be nice to you, be nice to them.
Hey,
starting now, all your life, do not change. Do not change your direction. People are people, and they're loving people.
All right, so...
I don't know. I think if my memory was doing better, I would know every one of them by first name.
Oh, yeah, I understand. That's the old golden rule, Dad.
My God. They go by me, wave at me. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Oh, my God. Huh?
Now, Dad, on your...
And Joanne, the same way. Joanne is part of the crew here now.
Of course. We all know that. We can't let... We can't let that slide on by.
I'm not trying to toot my issue in here, but and Joanne says, yes, you are. No, I'm not. But I just realized how it all happened. It's because I gave and I'm taking it now.
Yes, I gave and I'm taking it now. Give me mine.
That's wonderful.
Now, Dad.
Yeah,
Dad, we're getting a lot of great meathead-isms today. If you're keeping score at home, Dad followed up blacks are blacks with people are people and they're people. And I gave and now I'm taking.
That's right. I'm really embellishing in the love I get back from them.
You are too, and I'm glad you are, Dad, and you deserve that, both of you.
Thank you.
Hey.
And my sons are all with a testament to what you do. You guys do wonderful things yourselves. Let me tell you that right
Dad,
now.
you know, I had a strong parenting influence. You know, I had I was blessed because not only did I have my mom and my dad, but I had you know, I mean, Joanne is like a mother to me. I mean, she's a very strong
God bless
influence.
you, honey. God bless you.
I mean, I've known Joanne since I was let's see, you two met in 81?
Yes.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah, I think we got married in 81.
okay, so I'll be 50 in a month, so I've known her for 40 years. So it's
Oh,
isn't that incredible?
Yep. Incredible is right. And you haven't had one issue.
I feel the same way, Eric.
I don't ever thank you, Joanne. I don't ever recall us ever having a cross moment at all.
No.
She may have been.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Joanne
Great.
is been,
Except your guitar playing.
what are you talking about?
Do you remember sitting in my living room playing the guitar?
Oh,
Wasn't it
What was that?
French horn?
it's my friend. Yeah.
No, not French horn. You were strumming on a string there.
No. I remember playing when Elizabeth was busted out her flute, and I had my French horn. I do remember that.
Yeah, you had the French horn, but you did.
Really?
You was strumming in the guitar
Where?
in the living room in Warren.
We don't have a guitar.
Maybe.
No, he had it.
Maybe
he
I
had
did.
some
I don't know.
instrument. Didn't you
Might
have an
have it.
instrument?
I don't
guitar?
remember. I got one now, but I don't play it. I have it laying in the corner just to
You
look
were
cool.
just making noise.
All right, Dad.
Oh.
I got a couple things I want to run by you. Mark is in New Orleans, Louisiana. He actually has reached out to you and sent you some things over the time that you've been with me, and he has a very, very simple question. He says, Meathead, if you could go back in time, and I think you've had a question like this before. If you had a time machine and you could travel in time and live for a year, what year would you travel to and why?
Oh, God, that's a hard question because my life has been so teeter-tottering. I think I want to just not think of anything but life in America because my life was totally, hey, I was a kid growing up. If I was back where I came from, I would have been dead a long time ago. I was a rebellious young man.
Yeah.
I had a group of friends that hung around me, and I actually was a leader to them. At age 12, I had people that were following me around. Believe it or not.
You're a leader.
Yes.
Well, what about if you could go back in time to like Martin Luther King and you could say to him, look, Martin Luther King, blacks are blacks.
I would be following Martin Luther King almost every minute of my life.
That's a good man to follow, Dad.
I hear him talk. His voice is so fantastic. It's full of love.
All right.
Man, we need a billion people like that in this world. And his life got snuffed so young in his life.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And, you know, I came to this country thinking this is the most wonderful place in the world, which it is by fact.
Sure.
But I see so much animosity lately
Yep.
that I cannot just stand it.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, Dad. Hopefully we'll be able to navigate these rough waters and be able to have some peace as time passes, you know?
There's a beautiful word you just used, yes.
A lot of good, too, though.
There are a lot of goods, this is true, but hatred of nation for nation, people for people, blacks and whites, God.
Yep. I
I
couldn't agree
never
more.
believed I would live long enough to witness this kind of situation.
Well, and the thing is, it's cropped up many times over the years. You had the race riots in the in 67, 68. You had the Rodney King thing in the 90s. It seems to be particular things build up over time, and then finally, kablooey, it goes blam, which is, there is a bigger problem here. And if it keeps recurring like this, it shouldn't. There should be something in place that can actually somehow this needs to be stopped. And I don't have the answer. It's just as remarkable that it keeps happening.
No, the hatred is what it is. I don't get it. There's, I would say maybe 2 million people in this whole country that are hateful people. that's staring at the trouble. They're carrying weapons and let's kill this, let's kill that.
Yeah, it's bad news, Dad. There is no question.
You know, I really believe I have the answer to a lot of these. I have to buy in my life the biggest island in the world.
Of course, yes.
And all the criminals that are worthy of being criminal.
Well, it's like the
We
first
send
time.
them over there, occasionally with food drop, no clothing, no nothing. Let them shift for themselves, make their own clothes, whatever.
Yes.
Leave them there all naked, all surrounded with water, guards all around it. If they ever got out of there swimming, shoot them.
What?
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, this is the only way we can clean this country up.
Dad, that is an amazing idea. Why haven't I ever heard that before?
Yes, you have, haven't you? Oh, that's my desire to see this happen. Criminals got to go with the criminals and live among themselves, have nothing to do with civilians
Yeah.
and people that are good people. Nothing at all.
All right, Dad.
No.
I've got I'm taking it in a slightly different direction. Justin said, "Dear Meathead, a great friend of the podcast and a friend of mine, is retiring after 40-plus years of work service. What are the vacations or places that he should absolutely do in the near future?"
Hey, you're breaking up.
Yeah, I see that. It looks like I have a poor connection. How about now?
Okay, you're good.
Okay. A good friend of the podcast is retiring after 40-plus years of work service. What are the vacations or places that he should absolutely do in the near future?
Oh, boy. There's quite a few places, really, but, well, San Diego, according to Joanne, that's a good place to retire.
Yeah.
But then again, the country has grown up so much over there to a point of crowd, the road situation. People are driving like maniacs.
I said see it, not to live there.
To see it,
Yeah.
visit it, all right,
you know.
but live there, it's out of the norm for me.
All right, so a trip out west maybe. Anything else come to mind?
Out west is one of the most fantastic things where the mountains are.
Yeah. Hey, how come you never want to take a trip with me in the camper? You could be in luxury. It'd be awesome.
Well, I got to get my honey to agree with that. So,
You're the one that wouldn't go.
Oh man, we'd have
but
so
I
much fun.
generally at this point in my life, I just don't want to leave my home.
All right.
I really don't. I'm a homebody.
You just like it.
You gotta see my yard.
All right, that's your Valhalla.
Covered with a lot of weeds at what point? But Joanne says she'll go with you.
All right, Dad, listen to this one. Rob in New Jersey writes this. Meathead, I need your insight on a disagreement between my dad and me about yard work. So this is right up your alley. My parents' house is in the woods. In the fall, when the leaves fall off the trees, the leaves cover the yard to the point where you cannot see the grass. There's multiple times each year that this happens because there's a lot of trees. My dad thinks it's good for the grass to take the lawnmower and only mulch the leaves instead of using a leaf blower. The problem I have with this is that he mows the leaves too much and he needs to use a leaf blower. The bits of leaves look terrible and too much mulch may not be good for the grass. What's your experience with mowing over the dead leaves and mulching them for the grass? Signed, Rob.
Rob, from one Rob to another Rob, it's not a good idea what your dad does, in my opinion. His opinion, I respect. When a leaf is large, cannot damage the grass as much as a mulch does. Mulch can kill the grass.
Really? I thought that the big leaf is what kills the grass and the mulch is what fertilizes.
It would too, but you don't have. When you mulch it, it really covers the grass fully.
All right.
But if the area that they're talking about is a large area, it should not be mulched. It should be clean. Let the.
All right.
You're covering it, and it's damaging the grass.
Too much mulch, yeah.
Too much mulch is dead grass.
All right. Very good.
So that's grass will be picked up.
Hey, I'm starting to get a weird connection, so I'm going to leave it right there, Dad. As always, I thank you guys so much. You're fantastic, and till next time, we're gonna wrap this up, okay, Dad?
All right. Have a wonderful day. Say hello to Honey, your honey, your kids. Love them. Tell them we love them.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you next week.
All right, Dad. You guys are the best. I'll call you later on in the week.
All right. God bless you.
God bless you too. Love you. Bye-bye. There you go, dear Meathead. Brought to you by our friends at JM Synthetics. My goodness, thank you to them for being on board with the show. Awesome stuff. Boy, he was on a roll too. It was a little bit of a bummer that we kind of got off the rails with the connection there. I don't know why that is, but screw it. Damn it. The whole thing about blacks are blacks. And then he said people are people and they're people. I gave and now I'm taking. And then he again went down the road of the amazing idea about the island in full regalia and detail. Whew. I hope you enjoy that as much as I do. I sure get a kick out of it. The guy is a legend. As always, you can get a Dear Meathead t-shirt anytime at ericzaneshow.com with my dad's big, beautiful face on it. And it's just $24.95. I pay for the shipping. That's the cost. It says $24.95. That's what you're going to pay. Thank you to you who reached out with the questions. If you have a question that I didn't get to, you can email me during the week the same question if you want, and I'll try to get to it next time. All right. Coming up next, the wife of Derek Chauvin, the idiot who killed George Floyd, is going the extra mile to put some distance between her and dude. And I've got a story about some real bungling cops here. And it seems to me like, I don't know how this has been happening, but with the story about guy who shot the dude in the face with the canister and various other moments, you'd think you would be getting the best of police work being done, but it seems like more and more we're seeing like the worst of it, and it's just not good. That coming up in a bit. And I don't want to hear any, what are you dogging the cops for? Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Look, it's what's being discussed. I didn't pick what's being discussed. I didn't pull the trigger to shoot the beanbag or the canister into the dude's face. It's my job to take the shit that's given, form an opinion, make sure there's no doubt about how I feel, and then you deal with it. I don't make you listen. I don't force you to listen to this shit, all right? So I don't want to hear one fucking peep about what I talk about. You take it or you leave it, and that's it. All right. Once again, JM Synthetics, online at jmsynthetics.com. Thank you. 70233. It is the number one distributor, JM Synthetics, of AMSOIL products. A lot of you do-it-yourself people, you know. You go into the guy's garage, you know, he's got the big-ass toolbox, you know, under lock and key because when somebody steals his shit, and you open up his cupboards that are also locked, and it's full of AMSOIL products. That's the type of guy who, you know, gets dirt under his nails and works hard and does it all by himself and saves himself a ton of money because he, you know, like on Saturday morning, he gets up at 8 a.m. and by 9, he's like changed the brake pads on 3 cars. It's that guy. That's the dude who buys AMSOIL products. And you can buy them at jmsynthetics.com. Be a preferred customer, and you're going to save money. Yeah, you're going to pay $20 up front, but this is how you do it. You give Jason your $20, and then you buy $100 worth of stuff, and then he hands you the $20 back. How about that? That's what a preferred customer gets at jmsynthetics.com. So basically, he says, all right, give me 20. All right, now buy 100. You're going to use it anyway. Here's your 20 back. Boom. jmsynthetics.com. He is in Saranac, Michigan. Jason is. And then his partner in crime in Saranac, not crime, but part of the team of Saranac shit kickers, is this guy and his lovely wife who are gunsmiths. They are Benjamin and Kyle. Benjamin and Kyle Newton. BK, Guns and Stuff. 616-902-2447 to avoid confusion. Benjamin is not married to a dude named Kyle. His wife, his very lovely wife, her name is Kyle. Not her fault. She's got a dude's name. But at the end of the day, that's the name of the business. BK Guns and Stuff. 616-902-2447. All right. They clean guns. They refurbish guns. They repair guns. They customize guns. They build you a gun from the ground up. It's all guns. You go in there, there's guns everywhere. It's amazing. BK Guns and Stuff. They have customers all over the world. You can do that, too, by, the U.S. mail. Deliver your broken gun to him. He'll fix it and send it back. BK Guns and Stuff, 616-902-2447. Or you can get to their Facebook page by just searching it, BK Guns and Stuff, or click on their logo at ericzaneshow.com. All right. You know who's been working his ass off for my son? That guy. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Jim is going to be out of that shithole trailer park before you know it because of Mario. You remember Jim's been having this trouble with this cocksucker who lives across the street who's a real asshole? Well, Jim is probably going to bounce that guy's face off a tree a few times before he leaves. I would not fuck with Jim. A little ball of hate. Holy shit, man. He's like former NHLer Kurt Giles for the Minnesota North Stars. Kablammo right into the boards. Oh, fuck. Pat Verbeek. He wants to get out of this hellhole, and so he's working on that right now. And he goes, what do I do? I go, well, I think you can get a mortgage. How do you know? I go, well, you pay rent, or you're paying for that tin can, right? Yeah. Well, then you can own a big boy house. You don't need to live in that disaster. Oftentimes people get into those places, and then the depreciation level of those tin cans gets so crazy they can never get out. Let's get you out of there. What do I do? Dad, if my arm were a bazooka, I go, you call Mario. Who's that? Well, that's the dude who sponsors the show. He's a mortgage guy. Do you think he can help me? I go, probably. Call him. Take care of it. Your thing. I'm not going to do it for you. Call him. Okay. Call Mario. Well, if I encourage my family to go to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, I mean, that's definitely a proof positive that it's a spectacular setup. 231-332-6505. And some of you might be like, I don't know, man, my credit's a little janky. Well, who cares, first of all? Shit happens. Let him decide if you can get a mortgage or not. Don't you decide. You don't know shit. Have him do it. For some of you, it's like, well, all right, Mario might be like, I can get you into a mortgage. True, you're a disaster, but you pay on this for a certain amount of time, a year and a half. I'm going to get you into an even better mortgage. No mortgage people do that. They don't check up on their clients like that. Mario does. Trust me on this one. Call Mario at 231-332-6505. For the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. I've been looking for your feedback, as always. I'd like to go to it and say, reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Kenny writes, hey, Zane, about bad riot cops, good riot cops. He says, subject line, bad riot cops are just bad cops, period. You're not missing anything, Eric. It's just that these news stories are actually revealing which cops are the bad ones. Swift disciplinary action needs to be taken. You're right, Kenny. And I don't get why how this cop in Grand Rapids shot that dude in the face with the canister after he had been maced. Why haven't I heard yet from the chief of police said, yeah, this is an asshole and we just fired him, right? I mean, that would that would go a long way, I think, towards calming some people down, that you've got a chief who's like, thank God there was video of this horrible incident. I think a lot of common sense is being missed in some senses of leadership about this whole thing. I think at the end of the day, if they asked me to lead them, they would have a better handle on these things, right? Totally kidding. All right. Where am I? I want to talk about, okay, this happened in, no, that's the story about the guy who cannibalized his grandma. You're not going to believe that story. What the fuck? A guy who sent it to me is a cop, and he wrote, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, when nothing would take out the stories about the cops and looting and rioting and all this shit, dude is busted eating grandma. Okay, so this one goes like this. You got business owners in front of a liquor store who don't want their place busted into and looted. And so they're doing their best trying to have that happen. They're standing out in front of the place, and the cops are nearby. They go, hey, they got in. They're robbing us. This is my business. Please help me. And the cops go, all right, hands in the sky. And like, wait, what are you talking about? You're under arrest. What? What the fuck for? For looting. What, are you crazy? And you actually see in the video the bad guys run out of the store with like a case of hooch. And they're like, smell you later. And the cops are like, hey, wait, there's guys leaving your store. Yeah, I know. That's why I told you to chase, you dumb fuck. Yeah, whatever. Reach for the sky. I don't think they call it hooch, and I don't think any cops say reach for the sky anymore like fucking Sheriff Woody. What an idiot. Police responding to the scene of a confrontation between store owners and apparent looters in L.A. handcuffed those who appeared to be defending the store. According to video footage of the incident captured by a local TV station, police continued to handcuff the store's defenders even after a local reportedly said, dumb fuck, there's the bad guys. KTTV aired this live on TV, showed several community members and apparent employees of the liquor store, some holding guns, arguing with the apparent looters on the sidewalk in Van Nuys. Reporter Christina Gonzalez, who was on the scene, described seeing looters trying to break into a nearby gold store. Several community members and small business owners shouted at the looters, telling them to leave the area. As police cars drove by, Gonzalez and some community members tried to flag them down. The cops eventually showed up, but even though Gonzalez told the cops the assembled crowd was, quote, trying to stop the guys trying to loot, some cops ignored her, instead pointed the guns at the group. Holy fuck! Fox camera captured the cops chasing someone down the block, but then showed other officers arguing with Gonzalez and her crew and asking them for IDs. My God, Gonzalez repeatedly tried to direct the cops toward the alleged looters. Sir, they're the store owners. They're protecting from the looters, she said. They're the protectors. The looters went that way. Footage shows cops handcuffing several people in front of the store as Gonzalez continued to tell them they had the wrong guys. These people were protecting the store, she said. I don't care about them, a cop responded, pressing her for details about the suspected looters. You're putting them in handcuffs, Gonzalez said. What happened is these people work here. They're protecting their business. Isn't that must be maddening to say that many times to a cop who just looks at you. Just once, I want to see a video during all of this shit show where a cop goes, oh, my bad, and then like unhook them and then go running down the street after the bad guys. Never happened. One of the people at the store was later identified as Monet Gonzalez, returned later that night and spoke to her about, I'm sorry. One of the people at the store was later identified as Monet, period. Gonzalez returned later that night and spoke to her about her involvement in the incident. Monet, who is black, as my dad would say, black, said she knew the liquor store owner for 30 years, so when she saw people who appeared to be looting it, she said she wanted to help. I was flagging down the cops with the owner asking, can you guys help? Monet told Gonzalez. I was handcuffed, thrown up against a wall with my husband and brother-in-law, and I'm like, what the hell? Oh, my God. LAPD not responding. Shit. Come on. Saw another video of a couple I'm kind of sketchy on the details. I better not open up that can of worms. I rarely know what I'm talking about as it is. But this is screwed up. So I alluded to this. The wife of dude who murdered George Floyd in the street, Derek Chauvin. Again, I don't know how Chauvin doesn't kill himself. He has caused a worldwide pandemic of angst, destruction, and looting and death. Because of Derek Chauvin's actions, people have died. Where was it? A cop just got shot in the head and died. Was that Louisville? Vegas. You might be like, hey, how come nobody's talking about that? Yeah, you're right. Nobody is talking about that, but I am. Cop shot in head in one of 2 police-involved shootings at protests in Las Vegas. I take it back. Not dead. Cop was shot and is in bad shape. Terrible. And this is because of Derek Chauvin and what he did. One guy and the actions of the other 3 knuckleheads who did nothing while he slowly killed that dude. I don't know how you don't kill yourself. How can you live with that grief? Hell, I wanted to fucking throw myself out in front of traffic when I killed that mouse that was caught in the mouse trap a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he killed a guy, and then he's lost everything. He's going to spend the rest of his life. Well, I take it back. He might not spend the rest of his life in prison because he's kind of a young guy, and this third-degree murder charge, I think, only is punishable by a maximum of 25 years in prison. But still, I just don't know how he could possibly live with himself. We obviously haven't heard from him. He's locked up right now. Took way too long for him to get arrested. His wife is a former Mrs. Minnesota. And by the way, I'm looking at her, and I don't know how she was ever a Mrs. Minnesota. Boy, they must have low standards on Mrs. Minnesota because it's not a good look. Kelly Mae Chauvin, a couple of days ago, said, that's it, I'm out. Fuck this guy. She files for divorce. And so, yeah, you know, the dominoes continue to fall in the life of Derek Chauvin as his world crumbles around him. And good, I'm glad it does. I don't blame her for heading for the hills. She's like, I was Mrs. Minnesota, and since then I've gotten old, and my grill is now a mess. I gotta end the losing streak here by ditching this murdering husband of mine. So she's filed for divorce, and she's going the full thing. The latest thing is she's changing her name. So, I mean, she's an Asian lady, and she's probably going to, get plastic surgery to make her look like, she's from Senegal or something like that, to erase the existence. Kelly Mae Chauvin even said, not only am I divorcing him, I want this to be the fastest divorce in history. I want this to be the fastest name change in history. I don't want a penny from him. Keep your police pension. Keep your house. I want it to be walk into the judge. I don't want anything. I just don't want to be his wife anymore. That's what she's doing, according to TMZ. She doesn't want a dime from Derek, citing irretrievable breakdown of the marriage. It should be, I don't want to be married to him because he murdered that black guy. In documents, the wife, Kelly, is a realtor and is, as I said, former Mrs. Minnesota. Says she doesn't want spousal support, doesn't want him to get spousal support either. Don't worry, he's going to be in prison. She also wants an even split on their assets, and she wants her maiden name restored. Also wants the title to their home in Windermere, Florida. Well, you want something. As for the date of the separation, May 28, 3 days after he killed dude. They've been married since 2010. She's currently unemployed, but was a realtor with Remax. As TMZ reported, Kelly announced the end of the marriage. Kelly's rep says her utmost sympathy lies with the Floyds, with his loved ones, and with everyone who is grieving this tragedy. While Ms. Chauvin has no children from her current marriage, she respectfully requests that her children, her elder parents, and her extended family be given safety and privacy during this difficult time. You know, if you're out selling homes, I mean, that's a very public business. You know there's going to be people who are going to this actually is going to affect her ability to do business, so I totally get losing the Chauvin name. But, I mean, I go right away, and I'm concerned about my health, and I have shirts printed up that say, I hate this guy, with this fucking dummy's shirt face on the shirt, to avoid that she just makes it through to another day, because people are crazy, and they would do crazy shit to someone like this who was married to a guy like that. So she needs to make perfectly clear that she hates this dude. Even maybe like on the front lawn, a big giant billboard that says, fuck Derek Chauvin, or please kill Derek Chauvin in prison, or something like that. Bounty on head of my ex-husband. These are all great / horrible ideas that she can do. You can have these ideas, even though they're mine and they're great. You can take these ideas and use them, the former Mrs. Chauvin. I've got more coming up, including a guy who has made it all worse by eating his grandma. And when in the world are we going to do something so that our 100-year-old citizens and amazing kids with cerebral palsy can be on the sidelines watching us do feats of strength to raise money, instead of all these kids and old-timers having to do it? What the hell is going on? It's all great, but you got to hear it. I got word that TC Paintball is taking reservations. My gosh, this is awesome news. If you want to play paintball this weekend, reach out to them, 616-249-8227. In fact, it's been way too long since I've talked to Rick. Talk about somebody who can talk more than me. I mean, he's a legend. I wonder if he's there right now. Probably not. I guarantee you this is a bad idea. What'd I say? 616-249-8227. Come on. Anyway, he wanted to give me, let you know that he is taking reservations. He can make it happen. If you've got a group event that you've been waiting to put in place, now is the time. TCPaintball.com online, or TCPaintballGR.com. Reach out to TC Paintball, book it, and let's go. Let's make it happen. Got the outdoor paintball park facility field. It's going to be a great time this weekend at TC Paintball, online at TCPaintballGR.com. And last but certainly not least, I've got a place that fixes cars. They fix domestic cars. They fix Asian cars. They fix Minis, Mercedes, BMWs, Audis. They have the expertise, the techs, the know-how. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This isn't some dumpy grease monkey shit shop where you walk in and you hear in the shop, ding dong, which indicates customer at front. And these fucking grease monkeys are sitting there like, yeah, well, you get this one. No, you get it. Fuck you. No, I'm busy. And you're standing there with your thumb up your ass for like 8 minutes, looking at the stupid peanut machine that you put a quarter in, and there's like 9-year-old peanuts in there. You turn that, you bite into the peanuts. It's terrible. Spit them out. Coffee's like mud. It's just a disaster. Nobody's happy. It stinks. There's like half-eaten stale pizza on the counter. And then finally some fat-ass guy, looks like Hurley from Lost, comes strutting in. You can see his belly button. It smells like cheese. Fucker's like, yeah, what do you need? Yeah, fuck you, I'm out of here. Avoid, okay? Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. Not full of slobs, okay? Female-owned, veteran-owned. Jamie Carlson is the queen in charge. Her husband, who owns 49%, is number 2. He doesn't give orders. She does. And then the lovely Meghan. One day this kingdom will all be yours if you play you will be the queen of the land if you play your cards right, young lady. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, Irvines.com, and 616-202-5538 in West Michigan along 44th Street, just east of 131. Street is called Stafford. Can't miss them. That might have been my best commercial for them ever. They're all great. I mean, there isn't a damn thing I do that isn't awesome. And I'm humble about it, too. All right, so this kid, I love this, man. This kid's got cerebral palsy, which is just a bitch. I mean, completely robs you of your ability to use your muscles. And, excuse me, this little kid, about 9 years old, he's fed up with COVID, and he's been seeing how people have been going out of their way to do amazing things, raising money for COVID-19 for the frontline people. What was the name of that dude in England? Captain Tom, Major Tom, ground control to Major Tom. He was the guy who, at 100 years old, did an amazing thing and did all those laps around his property. And what started out as a goal to raise like hardly any money whatsoever, it turned into this enormous groundswell of support. And the kid, or the old man, ended up raising like 38 million pounds for frontline workers. He's been knighted by the Queen of England. Oh, absolutely incredible. And just the fact that he served in World War II fighting the Nazis in Europe, it was great. Then you had the 100-year-old dude in here in the U.S., in Portland, Maine, raising money not only for a food pantry but also for COVID-19 to do 100 laps on a track by his 100th birthday. Incredible. Now, he didn't raise nearly as much money, but still, it's amazing. And now this kid, Tobias Weller. This is also in England, the community of Sheffield, which is a terrific place. That they're very loving people there. They've been no strangers to tragedies. That's where that horrible soccer disaster happened back in the 1980s. What was it? Hillsborough. At that stadium, man. Well, these people have rallied around this kid. He's a 9-year-old kid, Tobias Weller. He has autism and cerebral palsy. He has to walk with this crazy contraption, and you've seen it, man. It robs these kids, these people's strength in their legs, and they become very, very wobbly, can barely move, okay? A good friend of mine has cerebral palsy, Johnny Agar, and he has moved people to do great things with his efforts in doing road races and triathlons with his beloved father, Jeff. Well, this kid has balls as big as church bells. At 9 years old, he has been working to complete an amazing feat, and that is walking a marathon to raise money for charity. And all he's been doing to get the mileage in is walking up and down the street of Sheffield Road for 70 days. The initial hope was to raise 500 pounds. A flood of support led to him raising 30,000, and on Sunday it's now more than 60,000 pounds. This is a quote from Tobias. In theory. Oh no, it's not agreeing with me. All right, well, this is awkward. He's being described as an absolute superstar, Tobias is, and an inspiration by supporters. And this on the heels of Captain Tom Moore and the 100th birthday walk, which we talked about. So that's fantastic. It's called a crocodile walker that he gets around on, and he's been able to do it. Police closed off the road, and neighbors hung out bunting and balloons as they whooped and hooped and cheered for the kid. And he absolutely did it. So raising money. And I guess my question is, when are some of our top athletes going to do the same thing? I mean, at this point in time, after the old-timers have done it, after the kid with cerebral palsy has done it, what's it going to take to get fucking Michael Phelps to get in the ocean and, pull a freaking ferry boat-sized group of people who probably are all centurions or maybe with cerebral palsy across the ocean? Frankly, I think it's about time that some people who have some not as many piles of cards stacked against them to actually do something on their own. But hats off to Tobias for getting that done. That is great work. Who's next? Who's the next physically challenged person or age challenged person to do something amazing? Well done, Tobias. But, I can't leave you with a great story. Nope. I have to leave you with something terrible. Zaniac Bruce reached out with a WTF is going on. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, we have this. Just when you thought the world ran out of effed up by now, this comes down the pipe. Police in the San Francisco Bay Area have made an arrest. Dwayne Wallach is 37. Now, this doesn't come from some weirdo news source. This is an NBC 4 station. Cops were mortified when Dwayne was sidled up to the Grandma Salad Bar and eating grandma. 90-year-old Ruby Wallach is not going to make it. Police are not sure of the motive and are continuing the investigation. What is going on? Officers responded to the home in a quiet residential area after receiving a report of a man standing over a woman's body covered in blood. So, I don't know how they saw it. It's somebody like, hey, let's go, let's take a peek. Let's do a well check on Dwayne. He hasn't been out in a while. I wonder how he's getting food. Wait a minute. When they entered the home, they saw it. They're like, stop. But he ignored and continued what he was doing. At this point, why can't we have police brutality on a guy like this? If there's anybody who deserves to be shot point blank right in the face, it would have to be Dwayne Wallach. How'd you like to be the loved ones of George Floyd in this case going, so let me get this straight. My son passes a fake 20 and you kill him, but Dwayne Wallach in San Francisco is eating grandma and you give him the benefit of the doubt and cuff him and arrest him. Holy shit, that's the worst. Wallach remains in a hospital where he's being treated for unspecified physical injuries. I have no idea. Probably a full belly. My God, this might be the worst thing I've ever ended a show on. Holy shit. How could I possibly think that this was a good idea? All right. That's a Wednesday edition of the Eric St. Show podcast. I've got Patreon coming up. If you want to join me on that, you know what to do. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. New sponsors are being added all the time. Man, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess just putting my head down and following your advice. The advice you've given me was, Zane, just you do you. And it'll all work out. And that is podcast and sell it. If your business wants to get on the podcast and be in front of literally thousands of people each and every day, try me. Eric at EricZaneShow.com. I can get you into a budget ad plan, or we can spend some serious coin and get you a massive amount of exposure. I know radio's not doing it these days. Radio is dying on the vine. It's awful. A business I once loved is dead. You know why? Turn on the radio. All you hear is public service announcements for like the ad council. I will remember you. Terrible. Reach out, Eric at EricSaintShow.com. I'll get you in an ad package today. Have a great one, folks. Talk to you down the road. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Chased him down and whooped his ass.
This is all your fault.
Just a rude person you are.
I heard he's got a big cock.
Nice boobs.
Let's go!
Nice boobs, Tyler.
Wow. Okay, that's really ignorant.